Shalom, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai. The word praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, the Lord and his apostles. Great millstone, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect across the planet Earth, pushing this truth. So it's some breaking news out of Los Angeles. Apparently, we have this social media influencer by the name of Jack Lang. He's one of those far right wingers. Basically, he just hates Jake. Typical, Edomite. But he was at the BET Awards that happened last night. Taunting, the so-called blacks in there, man. The Israelites, the Jakes that were attending that that awards event. So basically, he was out there just starting stuff. But that's going to happen on a wide scale. These Edomites are going to show you just how much they hate you out here, man. Just taunting Jake, or the Israelites, so-called the Judites, that are out there, Negroes that were attending that event. But this article's out of the Grio. Wasn't too much in the mainstream media about this, but it says a video shows demonstrators challenging the J6 defendant. He was up there purposely, trying to start stuff. That's the new thing. They want to go out there and taunt Jake, so-called black men, to get him to overreact and try to get him to, escalate it to violence. That way, that's what that Chud the Builder guy tried to do. He wanted to go out there, mess with people, get it to a point to where, he could probably shoot them, kill them, and get off on self-defense. So you gotta keep your head on a swivel out here. A lot of these Edomites, they're very emboldened right now because of these cases that are going on. The Carmelo Anthony case down there, that Chow guy, Rick Chow, I think his name is, that shot that kid and got off on self-defense, shot him in the back, got off on self-defense. And there's another issue down there in Albany, Georgia, where a guy, shot up a black family, a Jake family. They're having their family reunion, and he went up in there and started cursing on him and shot the place up. And he got off on bail or whatever. But a lot of these Edomites are very emboldened right now. But that's just the Most High stirring up the pot, rousing Jake up, because there's going to be race riots, and all that. But it says video shows demonstrators challenging the J6 defendant outside the award show, sparking widespread reactions and debate across social media. Jack Lang was met by protesters outside the BET Awards in Los Angeles this week, with the video of the confrontation quickly spreading across social media and drawing widespread reactions online. He met with protesters outside. Well, he caused those protesting. He was out there waving flags, talking about how black parents failed, and black culture was trash. So he caused that uprising at that award show. The video also captures Lang responding to the crowd. In the footage, he can be heard telling people to control your emotions before making a broader remark about black people that prompted immediate backlash from those gathered nearby. So here's out of a TMZ. Here's the video. Yeah, you can see the signs they're holding up says black parents are failures. Yeah. Just out there just to taunt Jake. That's the reaction that he wanted, You got some Instagarites in there too, you know. Chased them out. But yeah, you see, this uproars of the people, man. So this is all, you know, prophecy. But he said he did that purposely to get that reaction. It reminds me of something that happened a while back at a HBCU. You had this white uh, social media influencer, right wing guy, went up to an HBCU to start some stuff, man, and they chased him out there too. So you know, but it's gonna happen more on a wider scale, to where that they do get it's gonna get violent, man. Yeah, pardon J Sixer. Uh, Jake Lang showed up with a few supporters to hold signs disparaging black people at the BET Awards in Los Angeles. And this all happened, yesterday, where they were kicked and had bottles thrown at them by an angry and growing crowd. So they're gonna try to flip the script and say that, Jake was in that, the black crowd was in the wrong. You know, they came over there starting all this stuff purposely. You know, that's how they'll flip it. But and how the blacks were the aggressors and all that. In a way, you got to learn to keep your head cool. You know, keep your head in a swivel, especially if you're in this truth, man. You're not to be getting involved in these protests out here, all these uproars of people. Sit back and watch this, because this is all part of the Most High's plan. This is all what's going down, man. Eventually, it's going to lead up to actual race riots and mass death. It's called the time of Jacob's trouble, man. So you got to keep your head on a swivel and just be circumspect out here, man. Because these Edomites are out here, they're riled up, they're emboldened, and they're trying to get you caught up. They know that the court system isn't fair, and ultimately their goal is to try to kill a Jake. They want to kill you and get off by self-defense, knowing them juries will let them off on self-defense, like with that Asian dude out there in South Carolina, and all these other different cases, like that guy out there in New York. He killed that one Jake in the subway, choked him out, and they were parading him around with the president. So I think that's what their main goal is. They want to be able to kill you and to get off. By that, they want to rile you up to where you lose your patience, and then something happens and he kill you. Man. The scuffle breaks out or whatever, just claim self-defense and get off. So you gotta be careful out here, man. But a little backstory on this dude, influencer Jake Lang, released on bond. This happened in Texas, because he was out there provoking out there in the Carmelo Anthony case. Influencer Jake Lang released on bond, ordered to leave Texas within 24 hours. Yeah, this happened about 6 days ago, a week ago. Lang faces felony terroristic threat charge for allegedly threatening on video to kill someone outside the recent high-profile courthouse trial. That's talking about the Carmelo Anthony. So he's threatening that's what they want to kill, As a condition of his bond, Lang has 24 hours to leave the state of Texas. So he threatened to kill. He wanted to kill, and they just let him off. The state of Texas and it is legally banned from returning except for mandatory court appearances. So he was released for making terroristic threats. Yeah, Lang had been arrested earlier this month for making terroristic threat during the Carmelo Anthony trial. So you have these devils, man, these Edomites, they're riled up, I'm pretty sure he has a very large following that agree with him. details of the threat outside the Carmelo Anthony trial. I don't get all into that, but that's just a little backstory on this guy. So, he's down for the cause. He really wants to get in on you Israelites, you Jakes. Weird that his name is Jake, Jake Lang. But he wants to get in on it, man. But that's that perpetual hatred, man. This is for no reason. Jake out there doing the BET Awards, and this guy just shows up, starting trouble for no reason, This is Ezekiel 35:1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came upon me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And modern day Mount Seir is America. So we're to prophesy, against this place, man. And let people know this place is going to be destroyed. You're supposed to be fighting for America, man. You're not supposed to be out here claiming that you're, foundational to America. Lord said, prophesy against this place. The Lord's going to destroy it. And say unto it, thus saith the Lord power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and will make thee most desolate. So the Lord's about to stretch out his hand against this place. The Lord even said, I'm against this place. The Lord's against this place, man. He's saying our homeland, the Lord's going to destroy our homeland is Israel. Really, the whole planet Earth is our homeland, man. Starting with Israel. The whole earth was created for our sakes. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Yeah, the place is going to lay this place desolate. Modern day Mount Seir is here in America. Right? Because thou hast had is the point, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. Going back to the time of ancient Babylon, man, when the Edomites linked up with the Babylonians to take us down, man. The time of their calamity, the time that their iniquity had an end. And therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Yeah, this man does not hate blood, especially Israelite blood, man. They want to shed as much Israelite blood as they can. Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man. Jake wasn't doing nothing. But and in some ways I agree with him. Black culture is trash, but they weren't doing nothing. Anybody, they were holding their stupid little award show, Jake and his dumbass awards, BET Awards, and I thought they canceled that shit. But hey, minding their business, and this guy runs up there trying to start shit. He has that perpetual hatred, for you Negroes, man. The Lord is gonna, he has not hated blood. Just like he said, he wanted to make it threatening videos, threatening to kill, because threatening to kill someone outside the recent high-profile courthouse case. Talking about the Carmelo Anthony trial. This man doesn't hate blood. He's never hated blood, And we're gonna see that real soon, man. Psalms 137:7. It says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it. Yeah, destroy it, even to the foundation thereof. Yeah, he's talking about, we just read in Ezekiel, the Babylonians, they linked up with the Babylonians. Yeah, this is out of tipstranslations.bible.com, the Bible commentary for Psalms 137:7. Yeah, remember, O Lord, against the Edomites, the day of Jerusalem fell, how they said, tear it down, down to the foundations, And the commentary on that says, in this verse, the psalmist prays that Yahweh remember against the Edomites for the help that they gave the Babylonians in the capture and destruction of Jerusalem in 587 BC. See Obadiah, you have the account of it in Obadiah, Ezekiel. We just read Ezekiel 35. The Edomites who lived in south of Judah in Edom were descendants of Esau, and thus were related to the Israelites. The day of Jerusalem has been rendered clearly by Good News Translations. The day of Jerusalem was captured. That's the point. It's a raise it, destroy it, you know? And that perpetual hatred is up here into this very day, man. This man, you know? And all these other Edomites, man. Jack Lang, whatever this dude is, man. Edomites, we're all on one accord when it comes to hatred of Jake. The Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It's gonna come a time when it's just gonna all, unravel, man. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Yeah, so it's giving you little tidbits here and there, man. One people shall stand up and fight against another people, man. It's gonna be race-wide, so it's gonna be on a nationwide scale, man. It's gonna be violent. Swords in their hands, man. Because he was only out there with a couple people, you know. But there's gonna be it's gonna be a bunch of them, man. You got whole militia groups, you know. It's gonna get wild. There shall be sedition among men, invading one another. And they shall not regard their kings or the princes, the course of their actions, to stand in their power. They're not going to care what these officials say, the cops say. They're not going to care what the governors have to say, what the mayors have to say. They're going to be out there, man. That boiling point, that hatred's going to reach a boiling point, man. You know, out on the streets, race riots. But yes, the time of Jacob's trouble, man. It's right around the corner. This is Ezekiel, or 2nd Ezra 16. 2nd Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities. So like I said, in every place and in the next city. So it ain't going to be just in downtown LA. It's going to be all over the place. In every place and in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. We're the ones that fear the Lord, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Y'all the ones that have that zeal for the Lord, man. But not according to knowledge. It says, a great insurrection, great uprising. This was an uprising. It was just him by himself, a lone idiot, him and a couple other people, but there's going to be a great uprising, man. Of Edomites. I'm sure this dude has a massive following. I haven't really checked his social media account. They just call him what do they call it? Influencer. Yeah, influencer. Influencer Jake. That's the new name for these social media people, man. That make money off of social media. Influencer meaning they have a sizable audience. You go on any of these Twitter sites that talk about this, man. It's nothing but all Edomites, all these other heathens that hate Israel, man. Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. And they make it known, man. And eventually it's going to spill out into the streets. It says, and they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, man. Like madmen, sparing none. So yeah, it's going to get violent. We just read 2nd Ezra 15 with swords in their hands. A modern day sword is the gun, right? We're still destroying those that fear the Lord. So yeah, man, it's called the time of Jacob's trouble for a reason, man. Time of Jacob's trouble, man. For they shall waste, take away their goods, cast them out of their houses. Waste, take away their goods, and ransack your house. Take what you got, throw in your prisons, throw you in jail, right? Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Then you're gonna know who the elect are, because the elect are gonna be good, man. Some guys are probably gonna see their spiritual power. Some guys are protected. Guys are gonna eat in that day. Man. It's gonna say, man should be precious than fine gold, man. He's gonna make a man more precious than fine gold. Gold of Ophir. How is he gonna make a man more precious than fine gold? because you're gonna be protected in that day. You're gonna be good. You're gonna have them resources, man. You're gonna have an abundance in that day, right? That's how you're gonna know who the chosen are. And they shall be tried as gold in the fire, be tested, and they're gonna pass the test and be purified. You know, just like the elect's being purified now on a small scale. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So this is where that knowledge and wisdom are going to be the stability of your times, man, of thy times. Lord said, I will deliver you from the same. The Lord's going to deliver his men, from this. The ones that are, the ones that are faithful and true. The ones that are pushing the true name, Yahweh Shai, man. The ones that are confessing the name of Yahweh Shai before men. So Yahweh Shai said he's going to confess you before the Father, right? That we're diligent out here, man, pushing this truth. Ones that made their life, the bodies a living sacrifice. Those are the ones that are going to be protected, man. Ones that ultimately have the faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Those able to escape by their faith and by their works, man. I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. Yeah. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, man. Have that fortitude, man. One of the 4 virtues that will profit you out here, having fortitude. The Lord doesn't want you to fear. Just be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Lord is your guide, man. The Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, is your guide out here in these times, man. Having that fortitude. Yeah, I just want to go into that little incident that just happened. Time is near. Uproars of the people. Got these earthquakes in diverse places. I think a couple more earthquakes just happened out there in Venezuela after the 4.5 earthquakes. So yeah, man, it's the war in Iran heated up again. It's not gonna cool down, man. It's gonna keep heating up. Trump talking about they're gonna destroy him, they're gonna end the Islamic State, all that. But ultimately, that chip, mark of the beast, needs to get pushed. Right, all the technology is there, man. But with that, shalom.